All right. So April is Autism Acceptance Month, and luckily more people are aware of what autism is with the rise of media coverage and popular TV shows like Netflix's Love on the Spectrum. People not on the spectrum can get a clear view that adults with autism can lead a beautifully productive life. Take a look.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I'm sorry to see your face, John.
So you guys are still together?
Yes, we are.
How would you describe your ideal partner?
Oh, I'm not sure if we have that much time.
A girl who's very talkative like me, and a girl who eats nicely.
Has a very nice giggle and smile.
Witty, charming. I got a weakness for brunettes.
Someone who is able to have a back and forth conversation.
Polite, respectful, friendly.
I mean, there's like 8 billion people in the world. Somebody's gotta be the one for me.
Do you love it?
I absolutely love it. My wife and I, we were just saying we have to binge the new season of it
right.
when we get there. But joining us to talk about adult autism is a clinical psychologist specializing in autism at the York-Presbyterian Weill Cornell Medical Center and the Center for Autism and Developing Brain. So please welcome to the show, Dr. Michelle Gorenstein-Holtzman. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is, I'm so glad that we're doing this and we're really highlighting all the strides that we've made, I think, because 1 in 45 adults in the U.S. have autism. The focus for the last 20 or so years has been what causes autism in children. But we haven't really taken a deep dive into diagnosing autism in adults. Why is that?
So, I mean, I think if we even look back from when autism first got recognized in 1943, it was called infantile autism. So we always thought of it as children who struggled socially. But children grow up to be adults.
Right.
So autism is not something that goes away as people develop. So we are seeing more and more adults coming to clinics. There was a study last year that showed there was a 400% increase in adult autism diagnoses within 2011 to 2022.
Wow.
So we're definitely seeing a lot more adults.
Wow.
What caused that uptick? At what point did you realize, wait a minute, these adults or these children are going to grow up to be adults with autism, and how does it differentiate in being able to diagnose it from childhood to adulthood?
Yeah, so I mean, I think our understanding of autism has changed significantly. So oftentimes in the past studies, it was done on boys and children. Now we're learning more and more about what autism can look like in girls, in men, in women. And the symptoms are the same, but they can present a little differently.
I was just going to ask that. How do they present differently?
So the core symptoms and what we're looking for are very similar. So we're looking at symptoms across 2 different domains. The first are social communication difficulties, difficulties with nonverbal communication, eye contact, gestures, difficulties with social reciprocity. In children, that's turn-taking, sharing. In adults, it's more about that conversation aspect and difficulties in developing and maintaining relationships. The other area that we're looking at is restricted interest repetitive behaviors. So those are difficulties with managing change to routine or schedules, sensory issues, hyperfixations or unusual interest, as well as repetitive motor mannerisms and repetitive speech.
This may be a dumb question, says the journalist. Is there a difference between special needs and autism? I mean, because I remember as a child going to a school and we had an entire corridor for children with special needs. And the teacher, you know, this was in the 80s, the teachers were just like, just stay away from that corridor. And I just remember being like, but they're humans. And we work with folks at the ballpark who fall somewhere within the spectrum. And I don't want to just put a label on it and say, well, this person has special needs. In other words, educate us on what the language is and what's acceptable and not acceptable.
Yeah, so I mean, language has changed drastically over even the past 10 years. So we used to say special needs. Now a lot of self-advocates don't like that label. But school systems and IEPs and all that still use that label. Special needs typically refer to individuals who had learning differences. So not just autism, Down syndrome, people with dyslexia, any kind of difference or something that made somebody have to have a different kind of a classroom setting as you're talking about in the school. Now there's been a movement to mainstream or inclusion, so we are seeing individuals who have some of these challenges be able to be in a general ed classroom or be able to work at City Field and have very meaningful lives. And the more we see individuals integrate, we learn more. And we recognize that there's a need for everybody in our society to have a place.
Right.
Speaking of which, we just showed that clip from Netflix, Love on the Spectrum. Obviously, it's important for raising awareness as well because people are able to identify and fall in love with these characters, but you also get that broad range of the spectrum itself in terms of how it's affecting each of them. Can you speak to how important that show is for you and for raising that awareness?
Absolutely. I actually binge watched it in one weekend. It was great.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, so I think what that show does really nicely is it does show the entire spectrum. So you see some individuals who got a diagnosis later in adulthood because they, what we call low support needs. They may have been able to go to school or college and may have always felt a little different or awkward and got a diagnosis later on and now are looking for love. But you also see individuals who had maybe higher support needs. Maybe they were in specialized classrooms or got additional supports who are also looking for love. So I think it really does a nice job of showing the entire spectrum and gives everybody kind of a voice.
And also makes us realize that as human beings, we all have the same needs. There are 8 billion people in the world. There's got to be one for me, right?
Exactly.
That sentiment is shared by a bunch of people, I would bet.
And it's also such a heartwarming show at the end of the
100%.
day because it's love on its most basic, pure form. And it gives hope for those out there, who are not on the spectrum. It's just such a great show. Now I have to binge it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For sharing space with us. If you would like to learn more about autism or autism, go to autismsociety.org.